yeah, we're back and ready to go for another year of Talk About Martin. The top story today is the same story as yesterday, it seems. Looks like the village of Indiantown Council's call to Kumbaya went down the tubes in a dumpster fire at the very first meeting of the council. We're going to talk about the Republican elves that showed up for the Christmas parade in Indiantown and so much more. So stand by as we take 2022's first journey down the rabbit hole. Okay, gang, here we go. Get ready. We're going to have an adult conversation about adult issues without walking out of the room as soon as the light is turned on. We're not going to resort to racial epitaphs or slurs either. We're going to stick to the facts, just like we do with our friend Casey Ingram every month on her show on 1450 WSTU. You don't want to miss the upcoming January 26th show at 10 a.m. I promise you. It's going to prove to be a show you'll be glad you took the time to watch. And if you can't tune in, then be sure to check back at Talk About Martin, as we'll be posting the replay for you. You know, not that we need them in any way, but while we were away over the holidays, we discovered that Tam has been Facebook banned from a local Indiantown Facebook page. The same one Anthony and crew used to spread their village propaganda. We guess they couldn't handle the truth and differing opinions. Sad, really, because healthy debate is good for culture. I guess when you're making a difference, though, you scare people. Seems they do what they can to quell your light. So, to the admins at Indiantown Community, what are you scared of? The truth? Moving on. It seems everyone else is making New Year's predictions, so here's one for you. From time to time over the past few years, we've been openly alerting the Martin County Republican Party, both in print and radio, as well as in social posts, of their need to get their feet on the ground in the village in the western Martin County. As we openly suggested on more than one Casey Ingram show to Mary Lynn Magar, who is the current chair of the MCREC, there are elected progressive socialists not only at work on the ground in Indiantown, they're in office in Indiantown. The militant agenda BLM, YEO, and other divisive organizations like the NAACP, ACLU, and others have had boots on the ground in Indiantown from day one. Well, it seems they may be listening. Darlene, executive director and the head cheerleader for the REC, brought the rest of the country club Republicans in their cute little red and white t-shirts with elephants and the words Republican on them to walk in the Indiantown Christmas parade. A favorable mention for at least showing up. This did tell me a lot, though, about how the REC is viewing western Martin County. They're actually trying to put some feet on the ground. See, herein lies the problem, though, for them. The East Coast rank and file have no idea, and I mean no clue on how to deal with the western portion of this county. I think Mary Lynn knows that too. The Republican elves in their cheerleader uniforms stuck out like a Bronx New Yorker at a Cajun wedding. Darlene and crew are not going to make a difference, no matter how well intended or how good they are. So what would make a difference? Having been in an elected board-level leadership role with the local REC for 8 years as their elected state committeeman, I do have some credible insight as to how this generally goes down. Here's how I see it. Mary Lynn, the REC chair, will need some local flavor to begin with. You know, someone that looks, dresses, and talks like Western County. She'll need some money to help establish a long-term presence as well. The REC will also need to participate in the community. I mean, more than just showing up in red and white t-shirts and then packing up and going back to your gated world. That's where the trick is for them. Like we said, Darlene and crew are good for about 30 minutes out here and then they're done. The REC is going to need local leaders and participants in party activity. You have to ask yourself, though, why hasn't there already been that level of interaction in the past? Indiantown is a different mindset and culture, far from the Gucci Coast. So here's how they will more than likely go about trying to establish a foothold on the beach, if you will, in western Martin. First, they'll find a younger, motivated wannabe and stroke their ego with a title and some money to play with, and then hope to begin to attract some attention and participation. The easiest way for them to do this would be to establish a Republican club in Indiantown. Then you take your newfound fledgling political blow-up doll, make them president of the club. Now, have them bring in a few more people for leadership, and the club is there. Nice and easy. Everything will be led by the Gucci Coast quietly while the beach landing begins. We'd expect to see a local real estate holder donate use of footage for meetings and office and general visibility. This has been done several times in the past with the REC. I've been a part of those negotiations in the past more than once, so it's easy to see the path this is taking. Now, that's probably where it will end, though. You may get a few speakers that come in, a few barbecues, and some flash-in-the-pan type events. Here's the real trick, and that's going to be involving the club in the community, not trying to get the community involved in the club, but the other way around. Get the club involved in the community. The reason we say that is because the Republican Party at a local and state and level are terrible at recruiting minority issues, community involvement, and community support. The local MCREC actually does little more than work the phones in the general elections. They raise money with flashbang visibility events. Sad, really. We hope they can find their clay and mold a new conservative beginning in western Martin County. It'd be nice. All right, moving on. The first meeting of 2022 for the Village Council turned out to be a dumpster fire, as we've said. The council left 2021 with a resounding crescendo of denial by not allowing Councilwoman Susan Gibbs Thomas, candidate for the PZA board, Scott Watson, to be confirmed. You know, there's a track record in history that's repeating on that council, and Tom Campini said it himself when he stated that it was apparent that the other four did not like Susan. The four horsemen of the council decidedly have a pact to obstruct the actions of Susan Gibbs Thomas, in our opinion. While they may not be violating sunshine, there is and has been for a very long time a coordinated effort amongst them to make sure they will say dark if Susan says light. The way this is done generally is by using the village manager as the go-between. See, the village is being run by Howard in reality. The choices are being made by Howard. The money is being spent by Howard. All he has to do is keep their egos and power centers happy, and he becomes king. You know who loses in all of this, though? The people of Indiantown and the county as a whole. Just ask Janet. She'll tell you. She meets with him every week, as she says, and he tells her great stuff. The four are presented with false choices and no opportunity for alternate or divergent thinking from that of the central planners. They're rubber stamps, not leaders. The first meeting of 22 is in line with the last meeting of 21 as well. They had a mayor, Jackie Clark, trying to actually silence a council member, not let them speak. I know, free speech, right? If it was the other way around, she would have been livid. Trust me. The dumpster was fueled with a councilman who keeps raising his gold standard as the herald in meetings prior, only to lower it this time and say it was all right. I guess because it's his idea or the gold standard didn't meet his way of thinking. You know the type. We do the best as long as it's done my way. The meeting had councilwoman attack another using racial innuendo, age bias claims, and over-the-top screes about her colleagues. This is for real. Then she stormed out of the meeting before it was concluded. She actually went on a tirade, with tears again, talking about her long black hair, because she had failed. Then she walked out of the room, literally like a child would when they knew they had been found out. To stay would mean having to stand in the light. I guess if the shoe fits and you keep saying you're an adult, though, then you should act like one and wear it. The dumpster fire was fueled further when you had four of the members show their lack of cooperation that they openly cry for when they're in a tight spot. Susan Gibbs Thomas asked that an agenda item be moved from discussion to an agenda item. It was supposed to be there to begin with, and staff, as usual, had screwed it up. Would the other four so-called adults with no bias or agenda allow for a simple administrative change to move the misplaced item from discussion to an actual agenda item? Not one council member would agree to a motion to do so. Curious. You see, this kind of knife in the side tactic takes place every meeting. And here we thought the new and improved, mature, all grown up, adult like village council was supposed to be having some kind of a we are the world moment in 22. Well, milk and cookies for everyone, I guess. So everyone was and still is supposed to go along with the rubber stamping of the agenda items and ideas like it was prepared by the ICMA overlord Howard Brown. To not do so is presented as divisive, racist, and being a boat rocker. There are so many questions that need to be asked about this crew, and one of them is, since when is debate of idea a bad thing? Adults can generally separate, you see, their personal emotion from the fact of the business matters at hand. The way an adult does that is by recognizing that the process they are operating in is not about them. It's about the people that ask them to do it on their behalf with their best interests at heart. You know, the voters, the public, the residents of the village. Hello. When an adult does deal with it in that manner, an idea becomes business, and we do not have to ball up in our shells and cry every time someone busts your reality bubble with a better or alternate idea. Still think elections don't have consequences, folks? Let's take a listen to the actors in their own words. We're going to play a few of these excerpts from what I'm talking about, just to let you know that they actually said it and you can see them in action. Remember, if you will, while you're listening to the outtakes about the past of these four horsemen. It is election time, so the Sunday best speech, manner, and dress will come out now. They'll put their sheep's clothing on to convince you that they're not wolves, like a good little Fabian. Then, if you are dumb enough to elect them again, they're going to hang the sheepskin up and begin the pack's prowl and hunt all over again. The same people that are declared Fabian socialists, those are the ones I'm talking about. The same crew that used a convicted rapist, pedophile homosexual, and the People's Information for illegal and corrupt campaign efforts. That happened. They are corrupt, immature, and militant 21st century radicals. Some with less than an 8th grade education. The same people are running your future into the ground. So let's listen to them and get ready for election time 2022. All right, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us. We're looking for more information. Don't forget to join us on the Casey Ingram Show on the 26th of January this year. 10 a.m. in the morning, that's a Wednesday. We're going to talk more about the things we talked about today. Plus, we're going to have a special guest on there that I think is going to make you really happy to hear. Anyway, thanks for being here. We look forward to seeing you. And look below. We're going to put some of the things that we were talking about and some of the other videos in their own words down below. So check them out. Talk to you soon. See you back. Check back with us here at talkaboutmartin.com. Have a good one.